Hello and welcome to the CAFMA Connect. As you can see, Chief Freitag is not with us once again, and I get to host a great opportunity.
Tolerate would be another
word. Maybe there too, but here with Captain Merrill. And the goal is to discuss the firefighter applications and our goal to bring on great folks into the organization.
Yeah.
Fire away, Eric. Where are we at?
So right now, and I wish I could give like a definitive number even to how many we're going to hire, but the point is opportunities are right around the corner. I know Kathy has done a phenomenal job with our social media, and just as of last week has advertised a teaser, as they're calling it now, a teaser that our applications will open up as soon as June 5th. That application period will be open for 1 month, correct, Kathy? 1 month only? We're trying to include Kathy on this, and she just got blindsided here.
Yeah, I actually don't have that info. That would be HR.
Okay, awesome. Well, I actually have it right here. Just thought we'd throw you under the bus.
Why? It seems like we're using lots of
Thanks
words for a question we already know the answer to. But before we go on to Kathy, I know it's back to you. I'm sorry. What is a teaser?
Oh, we're just letting people know ahead of time that it's coming so that they can prepare. Very
nice. And I think like Captain Merrill highlighted, we don't know the exact number. Part of that is the board is still discussing the final budget, which we've indicated kind of a goal that we want to hire, but they still have to approve the cost associated with that. We do know that there are going to be plenty of other positions available because we have some retirements and other folks leaving that create vacancies. So we will be testing. Like I say, we just don't know what that final number is, but we are hopeful to bolster staffing one way or another.
Yeah, one way or the other, but we do have openings, so that's always a fun time for us as far as get to bring some new people into the culture and keep evolving it.
Yep, that'll be good. And I know the board has been very supportive as we've been going through these discussions and just kind of reviewing, the challenges that we're seeing on staffing and how we can look at strategically over the next several years, kind of improving that staffing and looking at the call volume and other response models. So it's been good. A lot of support.
Yeah, a lot of good things coming, Chief.
What's the next step? So obviously we have the teaser out, and Kathy described what that is. Obviously, just trying to get the information out. One of the challenges we've had in the past is just getting the number of applications. And I know the last time they did a fantastic job advertising, and I think with Kathy's help, we're going to continue to build on that because we need applications. We need folks that want to come in and do the job, and getting the information. Part of the challenge is getting that information out there.
Yeah. So with that, a few changes this year as opposed to some lessons learned last year on our end, just by we just removed some qualifications last year. A couple of those being hazmat and your firefighter 1 and 2. You still have to have your EMT to be able to test. And if you happen to be in EMT school right now, as long as you have your certification in hand at the time of applications closing, you would still qualify per our policy to be able to test with us.
Yeah.
But you do not need your hazmat or your firefighter 1 and 2, although they are still recommended. And we have a great partnership with, Yavapai College and other avenues throughout the state. You will receive that in the first 9 weeks of the academy, along with your hazmat in those first 9 weeks.
Yeah. How many of the folks last time that we hired did not have that?
It was 50-50 down the, and the fun thing is as we brought them in throughout the first part of the year and kind of quizzed them a little bit in here as far as, do you feel like that helped, it hurt, whatever. Sure. I think everybody was unanimous of, we do a great job of, through our training cadre of teaching everybody what they need and their skills to pass their testing, but they didn't need it, but boy, it sure helped those who had it.
Yeah, like anything else, it just adds to that perspective and that training opportunity.
Cool. Yep.
All right.
So a couple other things I'd like to touch on really quick.
You have a few minutes. Kathy has already told us we have to keep it short. You have far more words than I do, so I'm just here to kind of control what comes out of your mouth. So Go ahead.
So the editing part is the difficult part for you. So some of the questions that have been getting filtered through social media, et cetera. One is laterals. We do not, in the traditional sense, accept laterals in terms of, yes, by all means, if you work for somebody else and you want to, apply and work for us, that's great. That's fine. The traditional sense would be you would lose your seniority. You would lose, some of those perks that if you were already working with your organization, you would lose out on those. You do start over. But we would encourage anybody who's looking to live in our beautiful area or work for our awesome organization, by all means. Hazmat, Firefighter 1 and 2, again, you don't need it. Recommended, but you don't need it. A couple things that were brought up, especially during the interviews in here with the recruits during the academy, and just to highlight on some of their oral board answers as well, were just all the opportunities that CAFMA has to offer.
Sure.
So some of the opportunities once you're out of the academy, anything from hazmat school, so to be an actual hazmat technician, a technical rescue technician, paramedic school, and I'll just add on to paramedic school, we're sending quite a few, I think, in hopes to send some here this fall. And almost all of our new hires that just went through this academy had applied to go.
Sure.
So it was almost a very competitive, battle to see who was going to be able to go. But they're just as hungry now as they were when they were going through the academy and even interviewed. So just a ton of opportunities. But I know some are already applying for some further education. So college classes, we have a brilliant tuition reimbursement program, all these opportunities the organization offers that I think, again, would be more enticing offers for people interested in the fire service.
Yep.
The last thing I want to touch on really quick with this process, outside of just follow the directions, whatever directions are given to you in the application process, and that includes, what certifications you need to turn in, deadlines, which is July 5th, I believe, is the deadline for the applications to close. Follow any and all instructions. Do not make HR have to chase you down for something, because attention to detail is a very big attribute to being a firefighter, being a successful one. But we encourage ride-alongs with our crews. That's something we'll have to filter through admin and get scheduled appropriately. But we would encourage people that are interested or maybe on the fence,
Yes.
do some ride-alongs. We'll schedule you and get you in on days that are convenient for you and for our crews. And you get to actually meet, the good people you're going to potentially work with. Yep. There's no greater selling point, in my opinion, than that.
Well, and when you get to ride along, it also helps answer some questions for you on what the oral board looks like, or what what requirements are needed from you. It's a great opportunity, like I say, meet folks, get an exposure to what the fire service is. And when I started, I became a reserve. It's like, okay, that's the next step.
Yeah.
And then I did my first shift, and it's like, whoa, this is a little more than I understood it to be. So it's a great opportunity to do a ride along and meet people and just get exposed to the fire service, which is cool. Yeah. Like I say, there is a deadline to it. Once we get those applications in and we start the process, we are going to shut down the ride along so that there's no unfair advantage or perception of an unfair advantage for some of those folks. The other part of it is, think about, if someone's watching this who knows somebody that's interested in the fire service, like, share this information with them, because we need to continue to build on our local, talent and get the exposure for local folks that this is a great job. There's a lot of good opportunity. You mentioned some of the opportunities for growth. I've got to travel all around the country for different training, and is supported by the organization. And it's an awesome opportunity, and sometimes just a little encouragement. I look at my own son, who's 17. Not that he's getting into the fire service, but like sometimes encouragement into different areas helps exposure. And like, I never even thought that was an option. With that, Kathy, I got a question for you. So with the social media, you're definitely improving our not just awareness, but our just out there in the public, like getting out there. How much more, I think, are you going to try to just continue to push this application?
Well, first of all, thank you so much. That's very kind of you to say. We're going to be pushing pretty hard, but we're also going to be trying to highlight some of the things that Captain Merrill just talked about. The TRT hazmat drone program is a big one. We're going to be really highlighting those so people can see what's out there for them if they join CAFMA. Hashtag join CAFMA.
Nice.
With that.
That was pretty solid.
So that's genuinely our hashtag.
All right.
So you can see a variety of things if you click on it.
That's cool.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Hashtag. That's
hashtag join
awesome.
CAFMA.
As opposed to the hash browns you had for breakfast. This is a whole new world, Chief.
Whole new world. It certainly is. But I think it's awesome, just what even the social media side of it that Kathy's been able to do just to get the information out there. And again, that helps people see what the job is about. Because we talk about being a firefighter, that's a small portion of the job. Yeah. But it's a big part of the job. It's a big part of the training component. It's a very dangerous part of the job. But we do a lot of other stuff. And so I think just the social media, the videos that have been put together, the pictures, information, all of that hopefully helps people see what the job is. So I think that's cool.
Yep.
Okay, what else you got?
So a couple changes.
5 minutes according to Kathy.
Perfect. Go. Yeah, that's why, caffeine, talk fast, get it out there. Couple changes now made to this next academy. One of them is that the last academy was 15 weeks. I've shaved a whole week off of this year, and so
nice.
now it's only 14 weeks. I'll give one negative to that is the perception would be, well, what are we cutting in order to, make it only 14 weeks? Absolutely nothing. I've just learned lessons learned from the first academy of how I can be more strategic with the plan. And we have just such a fantastic group of training officers that help with this. And I kind of want to play to their strengths a little bit better that I kind of had to learn throughout that last academy of if I plug these good people in on these days, be a little bit more strategic, we can maybe milk that day for more of what it's worth.
Well, and you look at what we did this last time was our first round at taking out the 1 and 2 requirement. So we just kind of sandwiched together the 1 and 2 plus our academy. And I think there's some efficiencies that you guys learned, and you've made the adjustment, which I think is awesome. Making those adjustments and just creating those efficiencies. Training is good, but at some point we want them on the floor.
Yes.
Sooner the better.
Exactly. Which that's the big positive.
Finding a healthy balance.
Yep. No, and again, I think it's. I want to give a big compliment to the last academy class. They're still genuinely friends.
Yeah.
I ran into them here. I worked a shift last weekend here at 53. They all came in from Swiftwater.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of funny because after, during an academy, everybody bonds, everybody gets along really well. But then you get out to the floor, you kind of meet your new families, and, you don't call, you don't write anymore, right? No, this is a scenario where legitimately just feedback even from the floor of like, no, they are super close.
Yeah.
Close, but also very competitive too.
Yeah.
One of the big advantages, I think, to those types of bonds is this is what will carry them through 25 years of, hey, remember this, remember that. They're, we've had some structure fires and even a few wildland fires here since those recruits have got out. And so they're very complementary to each other, but also a little bit of, competitive shenanigans there.
The way it goes. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Because some haven't got any fire yet. But like you said, even in the academy, we're very strategic of very high risk, low frequency volume of what our training encapsulates just because of the danger to it. But at the same time, it's you can only get so much before they want to get to the floor and they want to go do the deal. So it just kind of helps us with that staffing part. And actually, the way this logistically would work out, it kicks them to the floor before the end of the year. And that way, during that holiday season or whatever, it gets people out there.
No, it's always a challenge. Obviously, there's a lot of work, not only for them as our new recruits in the academy, a lot of learning, a lot of education, but also the training officers. I know we've highlighted that before, but the training officers that come in, the recruit training officers that come in, there's a whole lot of work and time and investment that is put into each one of these individuals. And that's why there's a lot of push even through the process to hire the best folks that we can. And again, that goes back to, Kathy, getting the information out there from the very beginning, getting the teaser out there to try to just encourage folks apply because we want to be able to pick the best from all those applications for the folks that are ready to go to work.
Absolutely. Yeah. And total fits for the culture. I mean, we could not have picked a better group for this whole.
They've done great.
Yeah, so it makes us even more excited to see what happens with this next round.
Yeah, that was good. Okay, Eric, you got. We're closing out here. We Chief Freitag's not here so I'm using less words. Sorry, Chief. You're using more. So I'm honing.
I'm making up for the words in a shorter amount of time.
You're doing a good job. Yeah. So what? How do you want to close this out?
Last thing, I know I definitely want to just barely touch on the Wonderlic test because I don't have any answers for anybody on that. I don't think you want my answers. But the Wonderlic test also, that is timed. It's something you do at home on your own after you submit your application, but also be understanding if you're going to turn in your application very close to the deadline, you need to be very strategic with your time management and get the Wonderlic done ahead of time. But again, just be you. That's all it gauges on. There's no right or wrong answers. It's just gauging on you. So do it yourself. Don't have somebody else do it.
Don't have somebody else do it. And there's actually, if somebody, as you go through that test, if it looks like you've tried to answer the right questions, it'll highlight with a mark. It's not that there aren't perfect people out there, but that it highlights if somebody has answered them too positively. Like, well, there's not a negative bone in your body. Like, that's awesome. We'll see how that works in 5 years.
And we may not want you if you're that perfect.
If you're that perfect, we don't want that. We need some people that need a little help, need a little work, understand that they need a little help and a little work. But it is interesting. So, be honest with the answers because it truly looks at, are you a fit? And just picking all the positive answers doesn't necessarily satisfy that fit. We want reality. We want to, make decisions on who folks actually are. The other part is, you look at, you said it from the beginning, some people weed themselves out by never submitting the application. Some people weed themselves out with submitting incomplete applications. Some people weed themselves out by not completing the Wonderlic. All along the way, people drop out of the process. And that's nothing we can control. We hope that anybody that applies is willing to go through the whole process, but make sure, like you say, you're mindful of those time frames.
Yep. And so even with that, I think the last thing that I'll say is if you have not taken your CPAT test yet, you better schedule that soon. But even before that, you better start preparing for it, because that is, it's not that it's arduous for the time frame that it's in, but it's not impossible. But you do get just a fun fact. I mean, if you schedule one of the, what do they call it, like a practice CPAT, if you pass that counts. But it's costly. Not, astronomical, but, it costs some money. So, just friend to friend here, maybe start working out a little bit before you go do the CPAT. But then even when you get that done, make sure you submit all that stuff all on time. That's the biggest advice I could give you. And then start doing some ride-alongs up until the apps close. Maybe do some mock aura boards. But the biggest tip I could give you on a personal note is just come in and completely be yourself. We want to hear about the struggles you've had, and we don't want perfect people. We want character. That's what we want.
No, awesome. And we want all the applicants that we can get. So if you're thinking about the fire service, do a ride along. And if you know somebody that may be thinking about the fire service, encourage them to do a ride along. And we just, again, it's a great job. It's certainly been a huge benefit for myself and my family, and I would encourage anybody that has an interest to sign up and take that next step. So with that, Eric, thank you for using words.
You're welcome.
I
got more.
I didn't have to use a whole lot, so this is great. Kathy, we kept it under 20 minutes, so that should be good. Yes? No?
Yes. Oh, wait. Yes, thank you very much.
All right, awesome. Chief Freitag, take note. With that, please like and subscribe, and Chief Freitag will be back next week. Thank you.